Good evening, hello everybody, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series Season 6. This is a Division C game between Calculated Throw and UArk Esports. I'm your host, Cat Peach, for the evening. I have not done this in a little bit, guys. It's been a while, and I'm really excited to be back at it. We're gonna jump right into this draft going on, because these teams are ready to get started. So let's take things off into our first game. Game number 1. Heading over to Cursed Hollow. And as we get the early stages of this started, let's actually show y'all the map picks, map bans here for this season. So, or rather, this matchup. Calculated Throw, winning at the coin toss, choosing to first pick in game number 1. Banning out Volskaya Foundry, while UArk Esports banning out that Infernal Shrines, and taking us to Cursed Hollow here for game number 1. A map that not a lot of teams really tend to come to these days. I feel like quite some time ago, folks opted to kind of play on this map a little bit less, not really liking how large it is, favoring some of the smaller maps like that Infernal Shrines, like that Volskaya Foundry, but we're going to see it played first here this evening in the immediate Dahaka ban. Globals tend to be the name of the game in terms of bans or early picks here, because of the size of the map like I was talking about. So getting rid of the Dahaka is pretty common. The White Main ban, though, very interesting. Must be more of a Calculated Throw pick for this one. White Main's not particularly the strongest support in the game right now, so seeing her banned out is pretty curious. The Blaze ban makes a lot of sense. He is always a solid choice in any team composition, it really feels like, and the bunker really cancel out a lot of the Wombo combo potential of a lot of team compositions that we see. So taking that off the table, making sure that isn't removed, and also looks like might be a little bit of a comfort pick for one of the members of UArk Esports. And with Johanna gone, Anubara quickly picked up here for Calculated Throw. And let me just catch up on some of these bans in my notebook so I can look back on this wonderful day and see what we had. Diablo Ana. So Ana, kind of the OP support these days. I have Horus being extremely powerful, especially here on Cursed Hollow, being able to throw it out as a poking tool on these objectives. Diablo, always a really solid warrior, especially around the channeling points for those tributes. Has a lot of walls to capitalize on that shadow charge stun as well. The Brightwing, as we talked about with those globals, though, coming out, although interesting as a support for sure. You either love her or you hate her, I think. I'm kind of Luke Colds on Brightwing personally, but we can see if we can make it work. The polymorph, the Ana is obviously potential, or that front line with that Imperius, with that Diablo. And we're gonna see that Sylvanas coming out. My girl, personally. Ever since the rework, she can prove quite a nuisance in team fights if played correctly. Really seeing the focus on that Shadow Dagger build, her W, and being able to pick up that quest in level 1, build up additional damage for that ability every time it is cast, if you can knock it out correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, we see ourselves in Illidan and a Tyrael picked up on the side of Calculated Throw. Illidan, pseudo-global if we're going hunt, which I'm sure we are. We get the Sanctification, or even potentially a Judgment coming out for the side of Calculated Throw. You imagine, and I've done this before, and it's dirty, you layer your judgment with that hunt from Illidan and just get the stun after stun, and then you have the Brightwing to follow up with a Polymorph, or the UArk to follow up with those barbs, or a Burrow to kind of get the CC lock on a single target, which could be very terrifying for teams to deal with, especially in the case of Ana, who doesn't really have a ton of tools to deal with it. She does have sleep to kind of stop some of it, but I don't really think that is going to be able to stop the onslaught of that CC chain if it does in fact start to land. So it's going to be really interesting to see how UArk opts to deal with that potential. It is something that Apocalypse might be able to help discourage at the very least. If you know that someone is being targeted, throw down the APOC, make sure that the person who is being targeted is kind of in that range, and force your opponents to kind of step back, not really go in to that thing necessarily. I need to remember how all these keys work. Oh my goodness. But ladies and gentlemen, we are here getting started with game number 1 in the blue. We do have calculated throw. We're going to see Mystic on that Brightwing, Scooterman going to be on the Tyrael, Ronin on the UArk, Brevin going to be on the Illidan, and Mona Derp on the Jaina. And over in the red, we are going to have UArk Esports. Pokemaster is going to be on Sylvanas. Sea Blaster going to be on the Johanna. Dead Latin on the Ana. Blue Space Hat gonna be not blue, not in space at all on the Diablo. And Imperious up there being played by Jackstixman. We'll have to see how this shakes out. Seeing the offlane Tyrael is really interesting because he does not really the one that screams. Laning necessarily, especially into something like a gray main down there, like we see. Problem with Tyrael being offlane, he can shield minions, which is obviously really good at denying the experience from your opponent. But it just takes so much mana and so many of his abilities to actually get to clear. So expect to see gray main at least win out in that lane. But Tyrael should be able to hold it on their own at the very least. Very quick camp pick up here on the side of UArk Esports, making sure they can capitalize on as much pressure as possible. And even with the rework of Sylvanas, at her core, she is still excellent at pushing with minions and pushing waves. And so if you can get some early pressure, have her push in a lane a little bit, and try to, win out in as many lanes as possible before the first objective, you're looking pretty good. Good burrow for Ronin to get out of there. Sylvanas, ooh, a little bit of a bush, trying to wait for Scooterman maybe to zone up a little bit of soon, but Ana walks directly into that party bush. Or Jaina, excuse me, and is going to be the first to fall here. Very nicely set up from UArk. Illidan, we're gonna have to see what Illidan does over the course of this match. He is kind of known to just kind of go off, do Illidan things, and all that. Manny, how are you doing? And also, Blame Peng, how are you doing tonight? Thanks all for checking out the games. A little bit late into the season here, but it's good. Good to finally be back in the NGS throws. So first tribute popping up in top. Grevin trying to push out this lane a little bit, provides a bit of an advantage in terms of vision for calculated throw if they can. Rather than simply trying to absorb experience, deny what they can from the members of UArk. Mystic hanging out, maybe thinking about grabbing this camp? Just hanging for a bit? Doing Brightwing things? Gonna go be the global. They're gonna go soak in the bottom lane, try to get up to that level 6 experience that they so desperately need. While UArk does the camp, no one's really stepping forward to grab this tribute just yet. Scooterman starts to channel Reverent, going right in to Jaxta. Blue Space Hat coming around for a pseudo flank. There's the teleport from Brightwing to join the fight. The Polymorph goes out onto Diablo, starting to back off just a bit. Calculated throw, teasing the channel. both teams just kind of very slowly poking around. There is still that camp that Jaxa finally starting to deal with. Diablo with the Fire Stomp. Great poking tool. Poke tools on the side of UArk Esports are vast and many. Graven, though, going in, getting a lot of damage. There comes the snow coming out from Jaina. Z-Blaster looking really low, trying to get out of the fight. Deadlet and has the heals for the Greymane. They will live. The Graven going in onto Pokemaster. They end up backing out. There is the shield from Tyrael, trying to continue this fight a little bit longer. Blue Space Hat trying to get out, too. The snow is there. A little bit more damage. Ronan gets the stun. Pokemaster is out of here. Dead Latin, though, going to be dead, just like their name claims. Imperious all this time, trying to see if they can potentially get that channel. Ends up backing out. Mona Derp trying to zone that. Blizzard should take out most of the damage remaining, or the health pools, rather, on the side of UArk Esports. First tribute going over to Calculated. Very excellently done. UArk did have this push with this camp. The front gate is gone. So that sets them up really well for at least getting forts pretty quickly if they do end up getting a push on their own, or if they decide at some point to give up the tribute phase, instead focus on pushing out the lanes. But we'll have to see what they have to do there. Now everyone dances. Not really too much of a difference in experience, even from those kills on the side of Calculated Throw.
See who gathers enough tribute this time.
Calculated Throw trying to build up a bit of this camp pressure. We see Jaina, who at this point, with the build she has gone with that Icelands build, able to take out those Siege Giants very quickly. It's a really excellent build that we see a lot of times with her, just being able to pierce through targets and also to have the cooldown reduction on anyone who is chilled, so you have that Icelands up all the time. Interesting call from UArk Esports, giving up on this tribute entirely, instead going for a boss call this early in the game, pre-level 10. I'm not really sure I'm a fan of the timing of that call. It's a bit early. The boss isn't going to do too much damage to the structures as of right now. But you are going to come in. They're going to see if maybe they can get a double boss at level 9. Graven, it's going to Hearth. Members of UArk trying to find a pick, trying to see if they can make something happen while that boss is pushing. They know that a Nubarak is up there trying to defend. This boss already at half health, hasn't even taken out the entirety of the wall yet. Still has that turret to go. So the members of Calculated Throw, a little bit split here. They should be comfortable giving up this tribute if it comes down to it, which I do think it is going to. But with both teams approaching level 10 so quickly, this just screams to me that Illidan is, in fact, going hunt. We're going to see him come down as soon as possible to join in the fight. Have the Wailing Arrow. There is that Eye of Horus, as we talked about. Pretty easy tribute for UArk, as we mentioned. But even with that boss, look at this. We're still 10-10. They got a wall. So again, if UArk is really just trying to soften up as many structures as possible for when they finally get a curse, so they can quickly take out as many forts as possible, get those additional catapults going through the lanes, get a little bit of passive experience throughout the rest of this match, then they're on their way to do it. I just don't know if it's the best call. They could have... I love their team fight. Their team fight is so good pre-10, I feel like. And once you have to deal with the CC chain that we absolutely have coming out from Calculated Throw, those fights get a lot more difficult. Especially if your Ana's picked off, especially if your Greymane gets picked off. But UArk, they're gonna push along with this camp, maybe potentially get out this fountain, this well at the bottom, or in the middle of this map. There's Blue Space Hat with the stun, and Mystic using the Emerald Wind barely gets out alive. The stun comes out from Illidan, and Ana immediately goes out the Fire Breath, make sure to take out Brightwing. There is the snow, but there is the CC lock that we saw from Calculated Throw. They're able to body block this Diablo. They're able to get 2 kills here. Imperious, though. Imperious says, I'm not gonna join, guys. Guys, I'm just gonna grab the tribute. It's fine, it's fine. But there you have it. Emerald win for a bit of zoning at the same time. Although that was definitely used more as an escape for the Brightwing. But you have that judgment, you have that hut, and then suddenly, you know, your Anna's dead. As it happens. UArk scoping out on this boss, though. Brightwing gonna get the phase shift in. Everyone is here. Still have a few abilities on cooldown. The Emerald Wood tries to get UArk off the point, but it is not able to. Health bar's looking really low on both sides. This fight is going out. Tyrael gets that trait value. A great boss steal coming out from UArk Esports, taking out 4 members of Calculated Throw. The full CC chain wasn't available. Judgment was still on cooldown, I do believe. Had Brightwing just, I think, waited like a split second longer on that Emerald Wind, that would have been Acclaimed's boss in their favor, but well played by UArk there, being able to steal that right before Curse as well. As much as I kind of poo-pooed how UArk were approaching softening up the gate so far in this match and where they chose to get that first initial boss, this is what they were going for right here. They had the second boss pushing into this bottom keep now. They're able to take out the Illidan on top of it as well. Cocoon goes off onto Anna, though. Slowing it down just a bit. Sleep going out onto Brightwing. Jaxa gets the Impale. There is the damage. The new Barak and Brightwing are going to fall so quickly. The keep is down. We still have 30 seconds of this curse. There is still a little bit of health left, too, on this here boss. Tyrael ends up falling, trying to get a bit of damage onto Diablo, but the spell shielding coming out in handy. There's the fire breath, and oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 in 11 minutes going over to UArk Esports, and that was a quick game, ladies and gentlemen. That was a smidgey fast. Taking a look at some of these stats. 5 to 12 kills in favor, which is really funny. Considering how much of Calculated Throw's composition was really about getting those kills as soon as possible. Curious indeed. I'm just gonna message the captains here real fast to see who is taking what for game number 2. Yeah, goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, give up the first 2 tributes. It's okay. You don't need to grab them all at once, or all in the beginning. Ooh, okay. Let me just take down some notes here, ladies and gentlemen, just getting things set up for game number 2. But hope y'all enjoyed that. That was a very decisive map for sure. Let me just message the other captain very quickly. This is going to be an interesting map, for sure. A map I haven't really gotten to... Oh. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done this, and I forgot the order of operations for who gets to pick what. Oh, it's the exact same thing either way. Alright. Let's try this again, shall we? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. How's everyone doing tonight, though? How's your Wednesday? Hopefully my teams forgive me for for messing up on this. As I always say, there's always one thing that goes wrong when you're doing this jam. Alright, we're going to swap with you. And I think that is everybody. We already have so much going on in draft. All right, game number 2. I have to update Soothsayer real quick. So we saw that happen. Let's go to the map real fast. So game number 2 going to be going over to Altaric Pass as picked by Calculated Throw. Let me set up captains over here. Oh, no, I need to set it to Poke. So UArk up 1 game in this series. Bring it back. Hello. Hi, everybody. See if these teams are ready with that 6-Sikar. So yeah, I mean, I was saying that it was a very strange pick for UArk to go to Cursed Hollow, and how we don't see it very often, but they clearly had a plan going into that game. So let's see. They have a plan going into this game. Now, funny story is that I messed up who got to pick map initially, and so neither team knew. I had not invited anyone to lobby or anything, but both teams actually picked this map for game number 2. So showing that this is feeling pretty comfortable for both sides. I think both these teams are going to come in, have something real nice for us in this next match. Still with the white main. No big deal. Oh, it might help if you guys want to see... Oh, that's... Never mind. I'm looking at wrong screens everywhere. Also, Bahamut, thank you for that, host friend. How was the game that you casted? Alright, so we see the Anaban, which makes a million times more sense this time around. Getting the Diablo, we're getting the UArk. So a lot of things that we saw in game number 1 now off the table. And I like to see the UArk off the table over the Johanna. For the Horde. She ends up getting picked up, though, first pick here for UArk Esports. The Diablo Ana still very strong on this map. The white main, just a comfort. UArk, kind of one of the top tier warriors at this point in the game. Or tanks, rather, because everything's changed. And flippin' yeet Bahamut, thank you for the 9-month resub, buddy. Really appreciate your friendship and your support. And this is a very interesting one, too, if I've ever seen one. ETC Chromie. Hello? What world are we in that we get ETC Chromie? We're gonna have Tahaka picked up. Not so bad on this map. There's not as many easy bushes to burrow into. Some of them are in kind of awkward positions and have a lot of stuff around them. Still not a bad pick. Still seeing the Sylvanas comfort picked up for Pokey over on UArk. I always like a Tyrande ban. Lunar Flare stun's just really powerful, can set up for a lot of things. Now you have the Chroma, you have the ETC. Do you end up banning something else that maybe jives with the Mosh Pit? They're gonna end up banning out the Lucio. Sound Barrier. Definitely able to extend team fights, extend the lives of Calculated Throws team, if that were the case. So we're gonna see Zeratul, and we're gonna have the Deckard. Curious indeed. So we have a Void Prison setup, or a follow-up if we do end up seeing Stay a While and Listen, or even as setup for a potential Mosh Pit.
Victory above all.
I like the Stukov. I think anything that's focusing on isolating an area, much like Mosh Pit or Void or Stay a While does, so long as Stukov isn't caught in it. Having that lurking arm as a bit of a disengage and a little bit of a rain on the fight parade, if you will, for Calculated Throw can be pretty valuable.
The hunt is on.
I can't say I was expecting that whatsoever. Lunara, so a bit more spread damage, but the problem is that one of the problems, Stukov obviously able to heal through that pretty well, so long as you know, we have that pustule up and available to provide those heals. And there's another thing too, so think about that, right? Stukov's healing is so dependent on people being able to spread that pustule and really get that healing out. And just real quick, Swoosh Live, thank you for the 8 months back. Thank you, friend. Hope you've been well. I know I've been gone for a bit, but we're starting to get back into things. But yeah, so you have the pustule and you have to spread it around, and when everyone is in such close quarters, that's going to be great setup for Chromie to get a lot of damage out, for ETC to get a really monstrous power slide out, and I just feel like it's going to be a little bit difficult for UArk there if they're not careful, but we'll have to see. Game number 2 here in the blue, we have Calculated Throw. Ronan is going to be playing that Lunara. Mona Derp is going to be on the Zeratul. Scooterman playing ETC. Grevin going to be Decker Kane. And Mystic will be on the Chromie. And over in the red, up 1 game in this best of 3 series, we have UArk Gaming Z Blaster on the Greymane, Blue Space Hat on the Johanna, Pokemaster on the Sylvanas, Stead Latin on that Stukov, and Zaxta up in the top lane on the dinosaur himself, Tahaka. The B-Steps coming out from the losing team last game, which you don't really see. Courtesy B-Steps coming out all around. As you do. Yeah, I'm still really curious to see how Stukov healing does into so many heroes that capitalize on people being in such close quarters. I'm also really curious to see if Jaxa ends up getting first kill here all by themselves against this Lunara, although she's able to get a little bit of damage out against the Dino. He's holding his own in that top lane though. Not too much to talk about here in the early parts. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something very similarly done from last game on the side of UArk, where even if they're taking really early bosses that aren't the strongest in the world, They're really good at softening up for additional pushes later on. What a... These teams, just the stepping going on. Really camp grabs for everybody. For now. Lane's kind of neutral. One in favor, one against. One pretty neutral. Nice power slide from Scooterman. Gets the zone onto two members of UArk. Monodorp going in, trying to get the damage. Gets a lot taken themselves, though. Ends up using that blink to get out. Scooterman, very low. Uses that ability, get a little bit more healing. No auto attacks available, though, so nothing really to help extend that heal capability. Oh, and that's the bump not synergizing very well with the Scroll of Sealing. It's one thing with ETC that you have to be really careful about. Is, are my abilities going to mess up something that someone else on my team is trying to do? And so when you spread out, use that W, you end up knocking opponents out of any area of effects damage or control type abilities. A little bit of a rough sitch. Not anything that calculated throw can't come back from. Deckard getting those potions set up. Greven was our Illidan in game number 1. So interesting to see them swap over to supporting next time around. These camps were picked up so early before that they're already available, and so while no channeling is happening, you are already prepping theirs, making sure to get that additional pressure happening on the map while this objective is up. We're starting to see Monodorp kind of start their own same process of logic, and both these teams just straight up ignoring the objective, trying to see if maybe they can get some kind of pick. Blue Space Hot going to go back to the Nexus, get a bit of mana so they can keep fighting. Dahaka just up here, doing dino things, uncontested. It ain't no thing, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't no thing for the dinosaur. So once 7 hits for calculated throw, they're going to be able to actually contest this. And the fact that UArk weren't doing more with that 7 advantage that they had was very interesting. At the same time, the members of Calculated Throw were kind of spread out and doing a lot of different things and not stepping too far forward to engage in any kind of fight. Oh, Chromie doesn't really hit the follow-up onto Dead Latin. I think Sukov would have been taken out. But Calculated Throw able to get the channel here. First one out. Nice power slide onto Dahaka, being able to take him out as soon as he channels in. Pokemaster uses that E to escape potential danger. Monodorp gonna focus on getting a little bit more experience. Calculated they're still a little bit behind, but this push will do them a lot of favors, I think, in at least alleviating some pressure, taking out a few more minion waves, catching up on that experience, getting closer to level 10. And here they come, making their way downtown, riding fast, buildings passing, they're horde bound. Do 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 do. There's a lot of cleanup potential for UArk though. They're able to take these out pretty quickly. You have that Sylvanas, you have Grayman as well, who's pretty decent. Although having to face off with Ronan at the same time, a little bit more difficult. Only action though, up in the top line. Nice power slide coming out again from Scooterman, really nailing those. Especially on rotations from UArk. And that's cavalry out, so what do we net here? You know, one wall, nothing there. A little bit of damage to a 4. Okay. Nothing too bad, nothing too bad. Nothing to write home about. But still a little bit something. So we got 10, Blessed Shield, Wailing Arrow. And sorry, massive shove from Stukov. Literally the how rude heroic ability of this game. Oh, the body blocks though from UArk being able to take out Lunara. Scooterman gets out, but a nice pick. Right as 10 hits for a calculated throw. Ruth is there though. Onto Johanna. Sailwhile, listen, is there for follow-up. The bump immediately knocks him out, but Mona Derp trying to get the damage out doesn't secure the kill on Johanna. Too dangerous to keep going in, and so they let it go. I think had Scooterman only not used the W, it provides a bit of damage, sure, but not necessarily hitting everyone that was in Stale Wildness and focusing on one, getting damage on one while everyone else is still silenced and immobile. Maybe could have netted the kill finally. Oh, taunt battle, let's go. Friendly taunt battle though. Not so friendly. Chase on a Ronin. Pokemaster uses the E to try to get the damage out, but even though she's a slow little deer, Ronin's just fine. Gets some comfort near the support on the side of calculated throw.
Time for some action.
So far this game, these teams have been not together very often. How many? Sorry, we're at 2 kills total this game, and I want more kills. I want there to be some straight up killing here. Ronin hearing what I gotta say, trying to make it happen. But I feel like everyone's just been so avoidant and spread out over the course of this matchup that there hasn't been too much potential to get picks or for team fights. It looks like we might have one right now. The Wisp's out. Especially that Tahaka. Bump is there. Scooterman eating a lot of damage though, ends up backing up. Squirrel Ceiling going to root a couple members. There is the stage dive, gets the damage out. Decker Kane though going to be the first to fall, and this is not looking good for calculated throw. Z Blaster trying to get the kill onto Zeratul, ends up giving their life for it. Scooterman able to get away. Chromie with those amazing looking slowing sands, by the way, with that new skin. And that's what I wanted, ladies and gentlemen. A couple more kills make this game a little bit more interesting. The channel begins here for UArk as they're looking to get the next, but it is interrupted by Scooterman. Ends up running away, making sure they don't die for that poke. Mystic, though, poking from a bit more of a safe distance. At least temporarily, but there's the channel. See how long UArk can keep this. There's the power slide. There's the bump on two. Dahaka looking really low. Pops that essence to heal up, and there's the additional healing from Stukov as well. Chandler begins to reclaim the prisoner, but I think Zeratul is going to die for that dirt. They end up using the Void Prison to get out. So many members low on the side of UArk, but at the same time, so many members on the front side. So incredibly healthy. Scooterman has to tap, doesn't have it available, just backs up for a little bit of distance for the time being. And calculated throw, able to keep UArk at bay. 26 seconds already channeled rather, for UArk. 13v13. Calculated throw needs to make something happen. They're gonna place their bets on the siege camp down in the bottom. Try to get that mid lane pushed out just a bit more. Scooterman and Ronin pushing through this top lane while they have the time. UArk though, sharks in the water looking for more blood. Scooterman popped out, or scouted out here by Dead Latin. Now with everyone rejoined, there's the slowing sands. The tongue did miss from Dahaka, which is not great for them. Power slide goes out. Ability is now coming online for both teams. Stay a while unless canceled by the Condemned. Great move by Johanna, but the health bars are low enough for Lunara to start taking off these members. 2 down now on the side of UArk Esports. Giving Calculated Throw the time to start their own prisoner capitalization. I don't know. I had something going there. They're freeing their prisoner now, or at least trying to. Daratul gonna clean up that camp up in mid. Still doing what they can to make sure that bottom fort doesn't fall preemptively before this potential push coming toward the way of UArk Esports. Jaxa tries to get the channel again. Not successful. When it goes in a little bit, ends up backing up. A great bump into the slowing sands though, coming out from Scooterman. And there it is. This top fort needs just a little bit of a sneeze. Maybe a couple sneezes. Lunara's got all that poison to sneeze. She could take care of this pretty quickly. Calculated throw now. What is the play? Do you continue to push through top? Try to keep down or keep damage at this stage of the game, set up for a boss right after this push? Do you try to take down the rest of the forts? It looks like they're going to focus on this top lane. Waiting for that Sentinel, I think they're called. I don't know what anything's called. The guy on the horse, you know. Nice Gorilla Ceiling coming out from the Decker Cane. UArk stepping up. Oh, Jackson Man, a beautiful burrow right at the right time, but not enough essence or time to heal them up fully. Dahaka taken out of the picture. This keep, ladies and gentlemen, going to be the first to fall in this game. Ooh, nice Void Prison catching a lot of members on both sides of the team. Slowing Sands placed right under. Z-Blaster. Poison is gonna kill you, my friend, and it does. But this push, pretty much over at this point. Still a bit of time before the entirety of UArk is back on the map. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, calculated throw. Not going for a boss or anything. Just gonna clear some lanes. Not really enough time to safely grab those bosses. Their composition doesn't really have too much of rush potential, but they still do have a lot of damage available. Could have been a neat call. Also probably wouldn't have gotten too much, at least in the top lane, if they went for that boss. UArk gonna grab theirs. Here we go. Here's the boss trade. Far more devastating of a boss on the side of calculated throw. Threatening bottom keep. Wall is still up, so I don't think the keep will entirely fall. But this boss on the side of UArk still has an entire fort to get through before even threatening some of the more critical structures on the map. Camp on camp. Again, these teams are just avoiding each other so much. So that's knowledge. Calculated Throne just saw most of the team members of UArk up on the top. So they start this channel. This boss is still pushing down in the bottom lane, by the way. So UArk has to make a decision. Are they going to try to stop the objective, or are they going to let that boss push in? Either way, it doesn't look good for the structures. There's a lurking arm silencing on Mystic. Slowing Sands is there for the retreat as well as to stay a while in. Listen, Z-Blaster taking a lot of damage. Prisoner has been secured once again for UArk Esports. Now we wait. What's the next move? UArk finally turning their eyes to defending against that boss. Calculated throw. Just kind of waiting things out, seeing what they can find out from Vision. They've said take the camp. Threaten a bit of that mid-wave push. And here comes the cavalry. 19 against 17. UArk needs to take a fight here before level 20 hits for calculated throw. See, they're kind of looking for it. Blue space hat. Trying to find the angle. Scooterman, though, going right in. There's the condemned. There's the scroll of ceiling, though. Mona Derp going in immediately. Ends up blinking out. Not enough damage there. The shove kind of disengages a little bit, but doesn't get the Zeratul. Lead Latin going to be the first to fall. Mona Derp getting that damage out, ladies and gentlemen. Another stay a while and sleeps the members of UArk Esports that can condemn to try to control a little bit. Ends up helping to secure the kill onto Zeratul. The members of UArk, though, 4-3 against calculated throw, but their health bars are not agreeing to continuing this fight. And on the side of calculated throw, they say, we don't care. Let's keep going in. We know they have to either tap or go back. So we're going to try to get a little bit of a channel while we can, while we have this moment, because we're already more than halfway there. And we can potentially get the objective, even though we are down. That would be the time to move away, though. There's the tongue, though, from Jackson Man. Power slide to get out. Scroll of ceiling to help with the disengage. The health bar's already so low again on the side of UArk, but they are still going in for the chase. They get the reclaim on their prisoner. And I think this is a rinse and repeat. We already have full health bars again on the side of calculated throw. They can go right back in here and try to channel this yet again. The blaster goes on in. Scroll of ceiling to help the disengage. And there's that poison. So much poison going on to Z Blaster. Do they have... Can they get away? They're trying to wait for the heals, but they just aren't there from Stukov. The heals being on cooldown. Johanna going to be down 3 members right now of the team going down the Void Prison on that Tahaka. This is going to be a 4th very promptly on the Lego Dinosaur. Bro, stalling out just a little bit longer, but at this point, just die and respawn. You'll hopefully be back sooner rather than later to help defend against what could be the final push of this game. Look at this massive minion wave that's formed up in the top lane as well. Quick work being done of that by Pokemaster. But we have 2 keeps down. That top lane is so pushed out. And with this objective barreling down top and bottom lane, this is not looking good for UArk Esports. Screwman doesn't get the power slide onto Pokemaster. Still a bit of damage though. There's the boombox. There's the leaping strike coming out from Lunara, trying to secure the kill. This core is falling. And it looks like the Alliance are winning out on this day in game number 2. Going over to calculated throw. What a really good game, even though both these teams wanted to not fight at all. I had a couple more kills toward the end there. Take a look at some stats there while I get set up for game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Bring him back. My chat's in the way now. Hello. How's everyone? That was an exciting game. That was like a lot of back and forth between both those teams. Well fought. And I can see now why both teams wanted to potentially pick this for game number 2. Let's see. Yeah, GG's from both teams there. My golly. And hello, everybody. Hope you're all having a swell evening. My name's Cat Peach. If you don't know me. been a bit since I've casted, but we're back. I'm happy to see you all out here cheering for those teams. I see cheers for both Calculated Throw and UArk going on in the chat. Make sure to cheer on your teams. This is game number 3. This is very important for both these lads and lassies. I'm just gonna drink some water, refresh after those games. And after this match is done, ladies and gentlemen, do not fret, because at 8 o'clock we have another game. We have a Div A game against Dread Pirates and Nobo Esprouts, I believe is the name of the other team. Nobo. There's all zeros in their names. It's very confusing. Ooh hoo hoo hoo. I know what the next map is, and I'm very excited. Let's get this set up. Let's get teams in here. And let's get this lobby link sent out to our teams. This is exciting. This is a good time. Let's actually pull up the map shindig for you. Have a refresh of what we saw this evening. Game number 1, Cursed Hollow going over to UArk. Game number 2 that we just saw, Alteric Pass going to Calculated Throw. Now, Cursed Hollow. Possibly my favorite map to cast. Straight up. It's so good. So much fun. I'm very happy that these teams brought us to game 3. Aw, Bahamut, thank you for gifting that sub to Bemi. Also, Bemi, hello, friends. How's it going? Let me hat the right people. I'll bring it back over. Hi, everybody. You're the captain, and you're the captain. Everyone's the captain now. All right. Make sure we're all good here. Okay. Let's get this game 3. I'm excited. Chat's having a little bit of a love fest. These two teams, I think, really appreciate each other. We saw the fun B-steps going on in between fun parts of the match. Let's get this started. Game 3 hype, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3. Let's get it going. Towers of Doom. A map where all strategies on other maps kind of go out the window because experience works very different here. Which then begs the question, what do we see? So we're probably going to see a lot of the similar bands that we've seen so far. We still have the Waitman. I expect we see the Ana and the Diablo still taken out. On top of that, UArk. UArk is excellent being able to poke out on these tributes and really bully around them as well. There's the Ana, yet again, and the Waitman. No supports for anybody. I'm surprised by the Johanna, which means it's either Diablo or a UArk banned, and then the other picked up first here by UArk. That is my guess. So I think we see the Diablo and the UArk pick up. I'm wrong altogether. We get the Blaze ban again. But I think we see a priority next on those warriors. And potentially with the, you know, the warrior support choke that's been happening this entire series, possibly the follow-up support too for calculated throw. There's the UArk. And so I'm assuming the Diablo and potentially maybe something like the Sukhov or even actually the Tyrande would work really well. But we're gonna... That's not either of those, team. That's not any of those, team. We get the ETC reprise, and we also get the Rainer this time around. Very interesting for our first two pickups for calculated throw. And very decisive. We get the Maiev Dahaka for UArk. We've seen a pretty big decrease in priority in the Maiev picks and bans overall, I think, across the board. Still dangerous in the right hands, though. You always got to be careful for that. Dahaka Globals, still always pretty good. The only map that you don't really see the Dahaka pick up is Volskaya, just because there's not a lot of areas for him to burrow on, but you can see him picked up there every once in a while. But big priority into that Dahaka for sure. Taking out the Zeratul, taking out the Orphea. A lot of mages are super well equipped to extended poke battles over the altars. There's the Lucio that was banned out last time. Malthael, though, a very interesting pickup. I wasn't necessarily even thinking about him here, but great for double lane rotation soak with that on a pale horse at level 1. Allows for the 4-man of calculated throw to use that speed boost from Lucio, move around very quickly, and try to get as many picks, push out lanes as much as possible, and things like that. We got the Hanzo and the Karazim. For UArk. Curious. The last rites, actually, this is really smart on the side of UArk, using the, not seven-sided palm, the divine palm. That one. You know what I'm talking about. to essentially counter the last rites. Very, very clever. The dive synergy with the UArk and with Maiev as well definitely works out. And in Sonya's, I see you in there with the resub for 16 months. Thank you so much for that. Absolutely appreciate that. Thank you for the support. We in here doing things. And I've missed a whole bunch of stuff because I didn't have my Streamlabs windows open. But King Epidemic, Arrow of the Storm, Whoa No, thank you all for the follows. I appreciate it. Hope y'all are enjoying the show. What will be the last game of this first series of the night. Let's get into it. Game number 3. Good luck, have fun's coming out. Let's get this show started. In the blue, calculated throw. We're gonna have Ronin on that Malthael. Rainer will be played by Monadur. Mystic will be playing Chromie. Scooterman again on the ETC. And Grevin will be on the Lucio. And over in the red, UArk Esports. We will have Dead Latin on the Karazim. Z-Blaster on the Maiev. Pokemaster on the Hanzo. Blue Space Hat on the Bug Nubarak. And Jaxta. Jaxta again on the Dino. Really loves that offlane. I am too zoomed in for my liking. Hello, map. We shall see all of you on this day. B-steps this time around, y'all. They're all in good fun. They're all in good fun. I can tell both these teams having a lot of fun, really enjoying playing against each other. Very friendly in chat. So this is a fun little matchup up in the off lane. Dahaka may actually struggle a bit here throughout this game. Once they are able to complete that tissue regeneration and kind of have a bit more healing coming out from these minions, should have an easier time. But early against the Malthael is a bit tricky. Scooterman taking a lot of damage early on, as well as Z-Blaster. Heals coming out from the Monk. You're at Disney, you're at Universal. No way! We were nearby each other and I didn't even know it. No! I hope you had a good time at Universal. Who's not having a good time though is Blue Space Hat, taking a lot of damage. Raynor though gets picked off here by UArk Esports. Now going in on Scooterman. They may be able to get the cow, but instead they get the Lucio, using that speedy body to help Scooterman escape, but gives his life for it. Malthael doing pretty well up here for themselves. Pushing this lane out pretty far. I wouldn't be surprised to see them grab this camp coming up next. But maybe we see Dahaka land a tongue drag if they go for it. Jackson though going to safely soak instead. A much wiser decision than my crazy caster ideas. So we are still seeing the assisted speed boost rotation, although it's not necessarily the 4-man as strongly. Nice bump coming out, Scooterman. Doesn't secure the kill, but there's always the threat of potentially getting the kill, especially later in the game when you have Chromie and Raynor kind of ramped up a bit more with their damage capabilities. A bump in isolation could just prove so deadly, so you are going to have to be careful with the positioning. Hanzo very far forward, although Nubarak is right there next to them, so nothing too much to fret for now. Top lane, these teams are going to just simply grab their respective neutral altars. So the contention really here for the bottom one. There's the burrow from Dahako on a player horse, bringing Malthael down as quick as possible, but will it be quick enough? The health bars on UArk getting really low. Mono Dirk though might be the first to fall. Raynor is going to be removed from the battlefield temporarily. Free is on here. Nice tether from Maev. A lot of flash, and outside of the Raynor kill, not a lot of glitz and glamour for UArk. Not a lot of bloodshed taken out just yet. Might be Ronin next though. Trying to speedily get away at least. The heals coming out from Lucio, the additional speed boost, just enough to save the aspect of death himself. There's so many kind of lane options on the side of UArk. Maev has really great wave clear. Dahaka, obviously. Karazim, not the best. Nubarak actually can hold his own pretty well. And so there's lots of options for how UArk opts to spread their resources. They opt to use it, taking out Malthael, totally isolated from the rest of the members who are kind of forced down here in the bottom lane by a Nubarak, allowing for UArk to get this siege camp steal. Really good for them. This should be cleaned up in potentially in time. I'm actually not sure. Calculated throw, trying to clean this up as best as possible, but we'll have to see. Potentially UArk grabbing both of these altars if the rotation isn't there in time. Malthael trying to at least zone out Z-Blaster from making the rotation to their friendly side of the map. But Jackson Man already primed, will be able to grab that. And now it's really about the poke game. Calculated throw needs to get a pick here now before Dahaka is able to join the fight. Blue Space Hat taking a lot of damage. A lot of damage. There's the reverse ant coming out from Lucio, trying to slow everyone down and try to secure the kill, but it just isn't there. UArk backs away, but that's the tank gone from the fight for a little bit longer. The channel is there for a calculated throw. They get it, but they don't secure a kill from that fight, which would have been a little bit of cherry on top of the ice cream cake. There's always next alto phase. Ooh, nice power slide. Dead Latin, so zoned. I think the kill is here. There's the reverse amp to try to confirm it, and there it is. Finally, the piece is falling into place for calculated throw. And we are finally seeing a little bit more of the 4-man rotation that we talked about during the draft, with the speed boost coming out from Lucio, kind of bouncing between this mid and bottom lane with the 4-man rotation, allowing Malfield to kind of catch up the minions when they can. Although I would have expected them to be a bit more enthusiastic about the fight, but sitting without their level 10s, obviously now not the time. Still have the slowing sands available for Chromie now at level 9. Ooh, the isolation onto the Lucio at a perfect time. There's a 7-sided palm coming out, getting a bit of damage onto calculated throw, but no kills just yet. Scooterman tapping up, ready to get back into this fight. Malfield and Dahaka still up in the top lane. Dahaka is going to have the advantage of being able to burrow down here in the bottom. Malfield is going to have to rotate though, unless they can keep Dahaka occupied, but they don't. Dahaka rejoins, looking for the tongue onto Mystic. Not gonna find it. The Q from Raynor makes a little bit of space. There's a Dragon Arrow coming a bit far away. The slowing sands trying to dissuade a bit of the push. Hyperion coming out, getting a bunch of damage in. Pushing back UArk Esports as well, but the channel ends up going, I believe that was UArk who were able to channel it on the backside during that entire fight. A little bit of a bait there. They go in for the engage. And what calculated throw ends up doing is saying, we'll try really hard to try to get the kill. And they just can't get it. So they use the Hyperion to zone away. It's a bit of a slow zone though. And so they simply don't have time to finally go back and channel that bottom altar. Ooh, arrow's taken right into the Griffin face. Nothing Lucio can't heal back up from, though. Good use of slowing sands, making it harder for UArk to clear out these zappers. Bit of damage done to the fort. Jaxa finally completing that level 1 tissue regeneration quest. Will help them in the sustain department for a lot of the remainder of this matchup. Waiting to see. So 13's right around the corner here for UArk. So if calculated throw is going to take the fight, it's gonna have to be now.
The time is now, heroes.
Scooterman. Nice use of the slowing sands. Tried to zone, but UArk ends up getting there anyway. There is the last rites. Because there was no Divine Palm, nothing to cancel that out. Maev goes down. 4 members still up, but Blue Space Hat taking a lot of damage. Tries to use the burrow, ends up getting stopped. Kerosene though going to fall. Grevit trying to get the last bit of damage, but that armor going to help UArk survive. Channel going to go over to the side of calculated throw, catching up a bit in that core XP, or that core health rather. 24 to 28. So the kills from that fight, allowing calculated throw to catch up in experience, about to hit level 13. We're able to kind of safely soak in arrows in the map. Otherwise, they might have been afraid to do. But with the numbers advantage, threat not so much there. Scooterman walking right into a massive party. Tries to use the power slide to get out, but the Maya Tever threatens the stay. The kill is there. Mona Derp eating a lot of damage from Karazim. Oh, the containment disc stopping the Rainer. But eyes are set onto the Lucio. Really great pick there for UArk. And that's the interesting thing about Maiev into this specific composition, is that with an ETC, you have someone who feels they can kind of like go in and bump out and they're fine, but when you add the tether into the mix, it gets a little bit more complicated to keep that ETC alive, especially because he is not necessarily the beefiest boy, although he is a cow in the game. So Alter's picked up, or this Alter stolen in favor of UArk Esports. So looking at 5 shots if they can get this channel. Scooterman trying to find a shot. There's a containment disc to zone, making sure it's not possible. The sands don't land quite in time. 5 shots going over. The Dragon Arrow goes out onto Scooterman. Power slide though as well. There's the bump to kind of make a little bit of distance. The Slowing Stance is there to try to throw things up, but Scooterman, looking really low, manages to get away. The calculated throw still going in. There's a sound barrier. The Reverse Sand also coming out, trying to see what they can pick off. Jackson Man ends up being isolated from the rest of the team, and UArk loses their Dahaka.
I have opened a tunnel near our core.
This is going to give calculated throw a little bit of an opportunity to finally reclaim this bottom bell tower that they just lost. Set up for the next altar phase, which R2 going to be on the map. Ronin's got to be a little bit careful. Starting to see the invade come up from UArk, trying to get the Malthael. The Sowing Sands helps Malthael escape. The cooldown there is so low that Chromie can just throw those things out to say, I think this will help you escape. I'll throw it out and see what happens. The reset time is so quick that it really is not much. Stage dive comes out, not really hitting too much. Gets Scooterman back to the fight sooner. Calculated throw really needs both of these to not feel so strained. I don't know if they're going to be able to get back onto Dead Latin. Ronin gets the channel on the top, but no one going in to defend the bottom. So trading out 1-for-1, not the end of the world. But sitting at 10 health for your core, a little bit stressful.
And it will not be stolen from me.
You're losing your touch, Ravenlord.
Because essentially at this point now, if UArk gets 1 bell tower away from calculated throw, and the next altar phase spawns at least 2, if they get 2 of those, boom, game over. We are looking at only 1 though. So calm in the anxiety of that hypothetical situation for calculated throw. It was 16 here. I think the teams just want to play very cautious. UArk trying to again set up for the mid-bottom rotation that we've been seeing calculated throw doing all match long. Don't find anything. Results to wave clearing. Nothing wrong there. Running, hiding in the shadows.
The altars are rising, heroes. Do get ready.
Oh, Z-Blaster. Caught out. Ends up being picked off right before the altar. Puts calculated throw in a really good position to grab this. They find themselves in UArk, and UArk finds themselves a way out with that burrow. Calculated Throw, though, in turn find themselves a camp ready for the pick-in in their favor. They grab those zappers. They get the channel on this altar. They're going to be looking to push down here in the bottom 20 seconds before Maev is back up on the map. Potentially the time for Calculated Throw to get another pick, convert their own bell tower, start setting up for a bit of a return in this matchup. Taking the shot, zappers are already gone. Bell tower's falling, and yeah, this is a conversion for Calculated Throw. Dahaka, though, up in the top, trading out. So you are totally okay giving this over, saying we don't really have to risk ourselves to defend this. We know they're not doing anything about Dahaka up in the top lane. Really smart calls from UArk there. UArk already being able to start wailing on this bell tower. It seems like the members of Calculated Throw really kind of just gave up on that top lane, giving them all over. Stage Drive going in, try to get the initiation. The Cocoon goes out, though. Hanzo ends up being picked off in the meantime. Hyperion doing a little bit of damage, is about to be over, going a bit off the map as well. So this is the moment that I was talking about. 5 tower shots per altar captured. With Hanzo off the board, it should be easier for Calculated Throw to not have to worry about both being channeled, obviously. Because they're only getting 3 shots, though, it's going to take them a little bit longer to catch up on this health. There's the poke coming out from Deadlight, and they get that jump in. There's a 7-sided strike, getting a lot of damage out. Sound Barrier, though, extending this fight, keeping the members of Calculated Throw healthy. The Burrow ends up canceling out the last rites, denying the stack from Malthael. There's the downtown Dragon Arrow, getting the beautiful stun. Mystic stops the channel. Scooterman gets the power slide and the bump to zone so many members of UArk. They end up getting the kill onto Anubarak. Members of UArk are so low, but they can't get back onto Deadlight, and they've retreated to where it's safe, where the walls will shoot at you if you attempt to get in. Beautiful captures coming out from Calculated Throw. And we keep seeing time and time again now, UArk, the past couple of objectives, they haven't been able to safely do much because they're always down 1 member. Because they went in a little bit preemptively, end up losing their Nubrak. Very gutsy. Or I guess kind of safe. They saw that Calculated Thrower up there in the top. Boss finally being called here for a Calculated Throw, helping them catch up additionally on that core health. Gonna be sitting at 7 health on the side of UArk after that, which puts them back in this game. They were down quite, not a huge amount, but I believe it was about 10-12 tower shots just a few minutes earlier in this game. Now they're finally, for the first time in this matchup, in the lead. Teammate just goes out. Dragon Arrow, though, going out onto Grevat. Lucio uses the Sound Barrier just to escape. The Hyperion is there to push back the members of UArk, but they're eating a lot of those shots, though. They are going in. They are simply trying to keep this bell tower alive as long as possible. They have the isolation still, if they wanted to use it. But this bell tower is going down. At the very least, they've kept the push out. They're going to try to channel this altar. Calculated Throws has had an issue on this bottom altar all game, but there's the Sage Dive and the Power Slide. Jacksonman uses the Ensis to be popped. Blue Hat caught in the slowing sands on the side. Dahaka goes down. The last rites is out. Dead Latin is going to fall. Scooterman, though, looking very unhealthy. Containment just actually keeps them alive for a little bit longer while the Maev's taken out. But as soon as they're out, ETC does go down. 3 shots remain. for UArk Esports here, ladies and gentlemen. Now they're the ones who are on the ropes for the rest of this match. That's one altar. That's one altar, and that's even one altar if you manage to steal a bell tower from your opponents. And we haven't had a 3 altar phase setup in quite a bit of time. Next is going to be 2. That's 2 areas of the map they're going to have to babysit and simply try to control both at the same time, assuming that they can't get a kill or 2 before the altar. But it might not even get there, ladies and gentlemen. Calculated throw, trying to escort these zappers to end this game. The slowing stance is there. Blue Space Hat ends up taking so much damage. The power slide is there as well. I don't think any of these zappers make it out though. Zaxaman though, giving up his life. The kills going out so many so quickly. Only one shot. One shot's needed. That's all. That's all. And with 4 members dead, the GGs are going out. Calculated throw loses game number 1.
Red team.
Brings it back 2 games in a row to secure the victory over UArk. We're trying to see which beats out first. It might be the zappers here, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the last to hit. GG's, well played. Congratulations to Calculated Throw on their 2-1 victory over UArk Esports. All 3 of those games were absolutely excellent tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As much as I was really itching for a lot of those kills, especially in game number 2, it speaks a lot about a team to be so patient in their play and to wait for the right opportunities and not necessarily rush in all the time. And both these teams showed that they are capable of doing just that. I am going to see if I can jump into a voice lobby so we can get an interview with some of the members of Calculated Throw. Let's update that. Let me whisper one of their team members. Ooh. Discord's being a little bupkis though. Discord, please. There we go. Okay. Hey, Mystic!
Hey, Cat Peach, what's up?
Not too much. Congratulations. How are you doing?
Thank you. Feeling good.
Yeah?
Feeling good.
Good.
Good way to round out the regular season.
That last game in particular was really stressful for a lot of it. How does it feel to come back on Towers of Doom? Because that's kind of the map I think that those comeback stories just feel the most powerful. Do you feel the same way, or does it feel the same? Okay.
Definitely. That's one reason why we like that map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We know it's one that you're never out of it till the very end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of teams kind of not pick it up as often. I think a lot of people were playing it for a while because of that reason, and then decided maybe not so much because you could be on the losing side of that. So it's always good. And as a final map too in a series, it just adds to all the drama. So I personally really appreciate that we got to go there for game 3. But yeah, talk to us about those games. I wasn't expecting like so they were really patient overall, right? Especially in game 2 and game 3, both sides seemed to not really want to get too involved. So after game 1, kind of what was going on with you guys, and why did you decide to sort of play that way?
So game 1, it was kind of we know we were pretty much having a playoff spot. We wanted to try something different. Scooterman always complains about not getting to play Tyrael. Like, okay, we'll try something different. We'll run Tyrael, and we just completely bombed that team fight on the boss, and that was it.
Yeah, I was super excited about that because I love me some Tyrael. He's one of my favorite heroes, and I was really excited to see kind of the Judgment Hunt CC train.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of difficult there, and I think there was one point too with potentially like an Emerald win that almost also secured a boss and didn't quite hit.
Just a few seconds too early.
Mm-hmm.
They just came right back in. Oh, we debated even since we had the UArk taking what is it? The other ult for Tyrael, just so we had so they could dive in and just stay alive.
Sanctification,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and I mentioned that we just miscommunicated on that. But Sanct Twins is that boss, and that game goes on a little longer, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but, hey, we tried something we hadn't run before, so.
Yeah, there you go. And when you're, like you said, when you're in a position that you kind of feel like you're, comfortable in this matchup, game number 1, kind of experiment with something new, see how it goes. So game 2 and 3 then, kind of taking a step back and playing it a bit more safe then?
I got to play Chromie.
How is new Chromie? How are you enjoying her? Yeah?
It took some getting used to, but she's in a good spot. And having all the new PvE damage is great. You could probably solve some points where it was working out.
Mm-hmm.
She can now help burn bosses and things like that. So a lot of her power really comes from getting clones up and just making sure you're actually hitting people, because things getting blocked. Like, a UArk was a real nuisance game 3 with the Beetles, because no piercing anymore till 18.
Mm-hmm.
And I stand by that piercing was still the better option at 18 before today's patch.
Oh yeah, today's patch. I only got to briefly look at the notes. Did you guys feel any of those changes coming through, or are they actually out yet? Was that like a today patch?
Yeah, they're out.
Okay.
They were out today. We didn't really feel it. But everybody was so hyped up about Blessing of the Bronze, and it really, if you win a heavy dive comp that had a lot of really short cooldowns, like the heroes we were running, then Bronze didn't really do too much outside of speed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the changes, having it for only 8 seconds, I think is kind of brought it down a little bit. But piercing just brings Chromie back to where she was, and I've had so many games on her with the piercing talent before the patch where I'd go from about 30 to 40,000 damage to 120.
just a little difference.
I stood by that talent.
Yeah.
From the change.
Well, hopefully your next competitors don't watch or hear this interview, or else you might start seeing that. Do you think you might start seeing Chromie banned out against you in that case?
I don't know, because everybody. I've been running a lot of Jaina this season and doing some work on her too. But there looks like the word got out about Scooterman's Johanna too, so we'll see. There's a lot of specific heroes that are being picked out, banned against us, like Rexar and Johanna and White Mane.
Yeah. Always the White Mane. I feel like every team has like one hero that's always yanked off the table for them over and over again. But at the same time, it allows you to kind of work on other things because you're not going to be able to play that comfort. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, but hopefully one day you get your White Mane.
Definitely, and funnily enough, last time I looked at the standings, there's still a chance that UArk and us play next week in the first round. So
ooh, how
we may
extra
have a rematch
curious.
Next week.
That would be super exciting if that happens. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed just because I always love a good second time rivalry story. It's always fun.
We were sitting 4th and 5th, so I think we just flipped places at this point.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, if you do face them, good luck in that. And if you don't, good luck. Good luck all around. I'm going to give the floor over to you for any shout-outs you have before I let you go.
Shout-outs to my team for coming back. We've had a rough last few weeks. Dropped multiple places in the standings over the last few weeks, so that's been rough. A good job to the guys bringing it together. Thanks to Ronan, who came on as a sub, because we were missing... Out of a roster of 8, we were missing 4 people.
How?
And, one hasn't showed up all season. One's on vacation. One is European.
Oh.
And one had hockey practice.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
Hockey. So, thanks to Ronan for subbing in. Thanks for UArk for letting him play. As well as thanks to UArk in general. That was a great series. If we just forget Game 1 ever happened. And thanks, Cat Peach. It's always a blast when you jump on the comms.
Yeah,
I'll definitely be looking back to the VOD. So
it was a really good series to come back to for NGS, because I haven't really been able to cast all season, so this was like a really awesome one to come back to. So thanks for letting me cast it, and good luck in the rest of the season.
Yeah, and shout out to Division C East for the whole standings up until I think
Woo
week
woo.
6. It was 1 point difference, or 4-way tie for first, 3-way tie for second, and 5th, 6th, and 7th was all like 2 points behind everybody up until like 2 weeks ago. So
Div C showing
very,
up.
Very competitive division. It's been a blast.
That's
And
awesome.
of course, all the teams in that division are just great people.
Wow, well, that's awesome. I love when like things get like shook up all the time, and like there's no.
That B-Train guy.
Where is he? Where is he? All right.
Much love to Div C East. Thanks, Cat Peach.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
Thank you. No, thank you again, and have a good rest of your night, and congrats again.
Take care.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the first set that we're going to be casting here this evening. Our next set is going to be Dread Pirates versus Nobo Esprouts. We're going to be casting with that Moist Weenus, who I see there in chat. Hearing those 100 bits. Buddy, you're going to be in here soon, and it's going to be a blast. That game is going to start at 8 o'clock Pacific, so we have a half an hour. I'm just going to leave the stream running for that time. Feel free to drop in now, and we will see you back in a bit, so don't go anywhere.